Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. In today's topic, another type of violent Anglo woman. She murders her husband, who had brain cancer, and two of their kids. She also took their lives, and then she took her own life. And then the minimization started. Disgusting. Since if this was vice versa, cancer in itself is already an atrociousness as it is. And there are various causes and different things and various variables that happen. Now for the people who don't know, there's all kind of things that is sprayed in the air. And I don't want, that's a whole different topic in itself, right? However, things in certain types of food, right? I'm talking about additional things that many people don't want to talk about, but especially the spraying of things in the air. That's also contributed to, however, skyrocketing cancer rates. Oh, that's a whole different topic in itself. But in this situation right here, this particular deplorable type of woman who took the life of her husband who had brain cancer and her kids, or two of their kids, and then took her life. Now, if this again was vice versa, you got people that don't want to hear any kind of excuses. They be like, oh my goodness, we don't care about that man, making excuses. If he want to take his life, that was his business. He should have took his wife life, who had brain cancer, and he surely should have took the two kids. They don't hear all that. But it's something about when certain types of women within certain parts of Panamanian culture, when they do different things, it's primarily, oh my goodness, what kind of mental illness do they have? Oh my goodness, we got to feel sad. I'm telling you, there's a demonicnism that continues to keep going on. But let me go ahead and share my screen. A moment here. There we go. I think this is it. Okay. Make sure you can see that. Oh, hold on. Let me get that off there, right there. Let me change this over here. Okay. Let me go ahead and play the video. I'm utilizing this as fair uses doctrine as well. You see this Anglo mom posted on TikTok before unaliving her husband and two children, then herself.
The Attorney General's office says Emily Long shot her husband, Ryan Long, and two of their children before turning the gun on herself. Investigators say there were several challenges within the family at the time of the shooting, but caution against trying to pinpoint one single reason behind the tragedy. Over the last few weeks, Emily had been very open on social media, specifically TikTok, sharing videos talking about her husband's struggle with brain cancer. In her most recent post, she talked about taking steps to support her kids and her own health and well-being. In the aftermath of this tragedy, leaders in Madbury and surrounding towns are working to support the community, while mental health experts say it's always important to have a conversation with someone you suspect is struggling.
I think, when you hear folks talk about being hopeless, that's a red flag. You want to ask why and ask about what that means for them and what they might be thinking to do about it. Certainly, if anyone talks about harming themselves or others, you want to ask those questions.
How fast?
Time of the shooting challenge, Emily Long.
How fast that?
Last few weeks.
How fast that the minimization started afterwards. Let me stop that right there. And it was deplorable, right? It was deplorable. Because if this would have been you know what did I do that for? Hold on. You know what? Let me go back. Let me hurry up and reshare my screen. I wanted to read a few little sentences of this, not long at all, on this particular part. So as you see already, this article already, I already played the video. Make sure you can see this here. And this was August 26, 2025. This article today is August the 27th, 2025. Marbury, New Hampshire. And by the way, which has about a gigantic amount of, it's a small little New England town, a little bit over 2,000, primarily Angloism and things like that. I think the second largest population was Hispanicism. I think blacks were like number 3 or number 4 on that. Talks about how this particular, in small little town, this one, right? High medium income, high medium house income, high medium house prices, right? Well, I think over 50% of the demographics in that place had bachelor's degree, right? And so they overall would never expect that, right? Because how dare anything like this happens in that type of place, right? Because again, various parts of society, it's always black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, right? So that little game goes, right? This Anglo mother posted on TikTok before unaliving her husband, 2 children, and then herself, according to authorities. Emily Long, 34, allegedly shot 48-year-old Ryan Long. Oh, by the way, where is all that? Oh my goodness. Age gap relationship problems. Where's all that at? Huh? Where's all those little feminists at? Those little sister of chaos type people. Oh my goodness. Because if it was vice versa, he probably was taking advantage of her and stuff. Anyway, going all that. So Emily Long, 34, allegedly shot 48-year-old Ryan Long, 8-year-old son Parker, and 6-year-old daughter Ryan before unaliving herself on August 18, 2025. Ryan Long died from multiple booms shots, and the 2 children that were unalive from a single gun boom, according to a press release from the New Hampshire, etc., particular office. According to this particular entity, Emily Long posted about her husband's brain cancer diagnosis on TikTok. She often discussed the stress and grief she and her family had struggled with since Ron Long's diagnosis. According to this particular entity, the account was made private after the offering. Investigators have asked the public not to speculate what happened. Would it be the same freaking thing if it was vice versa? Of course not. Right? And it's an atrocity, because if this was done by a man and he took the life of his wife and she had brain cancer, and he took the lives of 2 of their kids as well, they don't want to hear about let's not speculate. It'll be, domestic violence. We must protect women. We must protect kids. I know this little disgusting tactic very much. And the system does not like people to see through these disgusting tactics of minimization, right? They despise, they do not like that. It's hypocrisy, and they know it. Feminists know it. The sister of chaos knows it's hypocrisy, because if it was vice versa, there will be, oh my goodness, we got to pray about it. They'd be like, no, we got to protect women. God, these games. Anyway, let me stop that, man. I don't want to read this no more. So you see how, for the ones who know, these are disgusting tactics. Like we're going to pretend that we don't see what we saw, that this little atrocious particular woman within certain parts of Angloism that she comes from, the one that supplies to Europe, she took the life of her husband that had struggled with brain cancer, right? And instead of sitting there finding whatever resources or whatever, since people love to throw out mental health real fast, right? But at the same time, when it's something about Black Americans, talking about racial racism, the hatred that happens to Black Americans on a daily basis, get over it, right? Or some kind of Black American, someone might be struggling with some kind of health situations or mental health, the ones that supplies to as well. Well, they need to get over it. You see how that goes. But we're just gonna pretend, right? When it's something dealing with certain parts of Panama's culture of Angloism, when certain ones have certain problems, we're just gonna pretend that how easy it is for people to throw out mental health in general categories, right? Instead of this needs to change beyond.
I say this calls for action, and now nip it in the bud.
Now, of course, that's not going to happen because there is a system of supremacy, which is the most awesome mental manipulation force that's ever existed. And it is basically a deadliness because it is definitely about doing whatever it can to sit there and protect numbers of women within certain Anglo-ness, with small exceptions, right? Because if there are certain the ones that are say they married to this black man or married outside the race, but especially if they married or with this black man, then it's like, oh my goodness, we don't want to deal with them no more. But which again shows hypocrisy, right? Shows hypocrisy. So again, this was a sad situation that happened to that particular gentleman, and may his soul rest. It is also just is a despicableness how the excuses and the genericalities, right, of minimization, where instead of the topic being about this man suffering from brain cancer and how dare this demonic type of woman took his life and then turn around and shot two of her kids to unalivement and then turned and shot herself to unalivement. If this was vice versa, many people don't want to hear about, well, you know what, we're just going to again pray about it. And, you know, that guy suffered from mental health. They be like, we don't hear crap about that. If he's going to take his life, he should have took his own life and, no, leave his wife alone. And, you know, and she's going through her own health situation. And he certainly should have not taken the two of the kids' lives. You see how this hypocrisy goes. But again, various parts of society that love focusing on black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, black on black crime, and what black folks are doing, and black folks are lazy, and black folks are always talking about, listen, black folks talking about that, but they do not want to sit there and look within that person's own Anglo-ness, the ones applies to, and see the major problems going on in the intra Anglo-ness. And I'm talking about the one this applies to, because like anything else, you got some good ones and you got some bad ones. The problem is that if it was a collective amount of ones that are good in Anglo-ness in America, it would be about more by quality and saying, hey, you know what? We got to stop acting as black folks commit these crimes. And anyway, you get the point. So thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.